the flow of various chemical substances through the Earth's biotic and abiotic compartments is referred to as the biogeochemical cycle. The biogeochemical cycle is described as the continuous movement of water through the ocean, land, and the atmosphere. This cycle consists of various components such as carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, and most importantly, the water cycle. A crucial part of the biogeochemical cycle is the water cycle. The water cycle is a series of interconnected pathways that involve both the biotic and abiotic components of the biosphere.
It has no clear beginning or end point and is a never ending cycling process that involves all of the oceans, lakes, other bodies of water, land surfaces in the atmosphere, as well as other reservoirs, which are locations where water exists at any point in the water cycle. The cycle starts with the evaporation of water from the Earth's surface and turns into water vapor. This process is called evaporation. Next, condensation takes place and forms clouds in the atmosphere. With enough condensation, the clouds become too heavy and starts precipitating back to Earth either as rain or snow. This marks a complete cycle and thus repeats itself. Aside from being an ecological reservoir, seas, oceans, and other water forms are also home to about 1 million species of animals. Some of the smallest animals on Earth can be found in them. Life on Earth cannot exist without water and the water cycle. As such, it is an important and necessary aspect of every ecosystem on the planet.
Aside from the pollution released by the burning of fossil fuels and other industrial processes, pollutants are also directly discharged into the water. Some of these pollutants are heavy metals, persistent organic pollutants, and microplastics. Surface water pollution is a type of pollution that occurs above ground, such as in oceans, streams, lakes, and rivers. These waters become polluted due to the contaminated water runoff that gets transported into nearby water sources. Some of the leading causes of water contamination include runoff from things such as fertilizers from farms and homeowner lawn care, and salts and chemicals from city and highway roads. Surface water can also become contaminated through sewage leaks and waste products from animal factories. Another type of pollution caused by nutrients and fertilizers is called nutrient pollution. This type of water contamination is caused when too many nutrients, specifically nitrogen and phosphorus, are absorbed into waterways and an excessive growth of algae is created. This phenomenon is called eutrophication. The reason that nutrient pollution is so dangerous to freshwater sources is due to the fact that the overabundance of plants and algae created by nutrient pollution covers the water surface and prevents sunlight from reaching the plants underwater. As a result, less oxygen is produced, causing harm to any organism that needs oxygen to breathe, like fish.
The Earth's atmosphere is a delicate balance of gases that supports life as we know it. But human activities are altering this balance, with potentially disastrous consequences. The burning of fossil fuels and industrial processes release harmful pollutants into the air, altering the composition of the atmosphere. This is known as Le Chatelier's principle in action, showing how increasing carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere cause the oceans to absorb more CO2, leading to ocean acidification. It states that when a system is subjected to a stress, it shifts in a direction that tends to relieve that stress. In this case, as carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere increase, the oceans absorb more CO2, leading to ocean acidification, as said before. This process can have devastating effects on marine life and disrupt the entire oceanic system. Deforestation and land use changes also have a significant impact on the oxygen cycle. Trees and other vegetation absorb carbon dioxide and release oxygen through photosynthesis. But when these forests are destroyed, the carbon stored in them is released into the atmosphere, further exacerbating the problem. But there are solutions. Planting trees and preserving forests can help to mitigate the effects of human activities on the atmosphere, and transitioning to cleaner, renewable energy sources can help to reduce the release of pollutants into the air. It's up to all of us to take action and protect our planet's delicate balance of gases. The Earth's atmosphere is a delicate balance of gases that support life as we know it. Let us work together to protect it.
Invasive species. An organism that is not native to a place is referred to as invasive species. Species that are invasive can seriously impact the local economy and ecosystem. A species needs to easily adapt to new environment in order to be invasive. It needs to grow rapidly, and it must cause damage to real estate, local economy, or local wildlife. Moving on, how do invasive species spread? Invasive species can be introduced to an area by ship ballast water, firewood, accidental release, and by people. Human actions are the primary means of invasive species introductions.
So what are the problems when it comes to invasive species? Well, for example, native plants and animals may go extinct as a result of invasive species, which can also decrease biodiversity, compete with native species for scarce resources, and disrupt habitats. They impair water quality and reduce recreational opportunities by deteriorating streams. Ecosystems along the coast and in the Great Lakes may be severely disrupted also, with significant negative economic effects. Fortunately, there is a solution. The safest and most practical way to manage invasive species is through preventive measures. Instead of attempting to manage a large infestation, it is significantly more beneficial to deal with invasive species early on and swiftly. If eradication is not possible, controlling and managing the invasive species can be the goal.
Epigenetics is the study of how environmental factors can influence the expression of genes without altering the underlying DNA sequence. The water cycle, which encompasses the movement of water on, above, and below the surface of the earth, plays a vital role in the environment and is closely linked to many aspects of human and animal health. Research has begun to uncover the relationship between epigenetics and the water cycle, and how changes in water availability or water quality can influence epigenetic processes. Pollutants such as heavy metal, pesticides, and polychlorinated biphenyls can interact with the DNA and alter the way genes are expressed. This can lead to changes in an organism's characteristics and behavior, and in some cases, can even be passed down to future generations. Studies have shown that exposure to pollutants commonly found in water can lead to epigenetic changes that affects the development and survival of aquatic organisms. Drought conditions, for example, can cause water stress in plants, which can lead to changes in gene expression through epigenetic mechanisms. These changes can help plants adapt to the lack of water by altering the way they use water and the way they grow. Similarly, changes in temperature in aquatic environments can also affect epigenetic processes.
The relationship between epigenetics and the water cycle is still complex and not fully understood. Research in this field is ongoing, and scientists are still working to fully understand the implications of these interactions. However, it is clear that changes in the water cycle can have a significant impact or effect on epigenetic processes and the health of aquatic organisms. This relationship is particularly relevant in the field of aquaculture and conservation biology. Epigenetics can help aquatic organisms adapt to changes in the water cycle, which can help them survive in changing conditions. However, if the changes in the water cycle are too severe or happens too quickly, epigenetics may not be able to keep up and the populations of these organisms may decline or become extinct. Overall, the study of epigenetics in the context of the water cycle can help us better understand how organisms adapt to changes in the environment and how we can protect and preserve aquatic organisms and their ecosystems. Epigenetics also offers new opportunities for conservation and management of aquatic resources. It is vital to take into consideration that epigenetics can be the key to unlocking the potential of aquatic organisms to adapt to the changing conditions of the water cycle. But it is also important to remember that epigenetics is only one aspect of the overall response of organisms to environmental change.